This is number 4, I think, in the worksheet. Yeah. So a wagon's being pulled by a long tractor with a rope. The rope is at a 30-degree angle, so we know this angle, get my pen to work. We know this angle here is 30 degrees. And it's being pulled with a force of 105.55 newtons. We want to find the coefficient of friction. So if we just write down the equation that we know, that's F equals the coefficient of friction times the normal force. So we're looking for this number right here. So if we rearrange the equation, we'll get the coefficient of friction equals the frictional force over N. Now, a key word here is, or key phrase, excuse me, is these two words here, constant velocity. That means that the force to the right, which would be this part of the 105.55 Newton force, is equal to the force to the left, which in this case is the frictional force. So if I get my calculator out and I go 105.55 cosine of 30 degrees, then I get 91.4 here. 91.41. Well, because of the constant velocity, that means that this is equal to 91.41 newtons. And then, of course, upward force is this normal force, which normally or usually equals this number right here, which would be 150 newtons, 15 kilograms times 10 meters per second squared. In other words, that equals mg. So m being 15, g being 10 meters per second squared. Well, we have another y force here we have to look at, and that's this one. And then if I do 105.55 times sine of 30, then I get 52.78. And the force of gravity, or the weight, is pulling down. This one's pulling up. That means that the block is lighter to the table. It doesn't change the weight of the block, but the force or the weight that the table feels is 52.78 newtons less. So I would say, so to find normal force, it'd be 150 minus 52.78, and I'm going to get a normal force of 97.22. 97.22 newtons is going to be the normal force. So if I just write that down as an equation, normal force is going to be 150 newtons minus 52.78 newtons. And that's going to equal 97.22 newtons. All right, do I have enough information to find coefficient of friction? And the answer is yes. It's going to be coefficient of friction equals a frictional force, which is 91.41 newtons, divided by the normal force, which we found to be 97.22 newtons. And when I divide those two, 91.41 divided by 97.22, I get 0.940. And remember, this is the coefficient of friction. There are no units with this. 940. 9. And that's my answer. And that's how you do number 4 on the worksheet.